he saved my life and giving me the direction I always needed, because growing up, I did not know about my family, nor did I know how to find out about my family. So the fact that like I tried other avenues and I felt like I was getting scammed, going through his consultation, I really felt like someone was actually trying to help me out and throwing a lot of fat on my head, bro. Like a lot of the things that he dropped, a lot of the gems that he's gonna show you, wholeheartedly, man, hang on tight, because that shit.
Gonna get genealogy consultation. I highly recommend Mike. You know, he was very thorough, prompt, very knowledgeable. Even taught me some stuff about the background of Indian ancestry and heritage that I didn't know. The biggest piece of it is he taught me how to pull records and really dig into those records to make sure that I have things to match up to be able to take back for my citizenship. So I really appreciate everything he does, and I highly recommend Mike as your genealogist.
Mike TV, this was a really good consultation. If you're curious about your Native American history, this brother knows what he's talking about. He has a wealth of knowledge, wealth of information, and his prices is legit. So book a consultation, go through the process, and see what comes out on the other side.
Mike is the real deal. His information is real. He's a humble brother. And he's all about the information. He's not about, personal gain or personal applause, personal credit. This is about our nation. It's not about one individual, but it's about us collectively as a people. And Mike is all about that, So we stand behind the brother 100%.
If you have any doubt, get it out your head immediately. So yeah, like I'm going to continue to work with Mike as much as I can. So I want to say thank you, Mike, for actually taking the time out and talk with me and my husband. Like, you definitely informed us on a lot of things. And the people out there that's watching, he will also inform you on a lot of things that you may not even know about. So I want to say thank you again, Mike.
Nigga, don't act like a bitch. That's why I don't got love for bitch. Oh, that's why Too Short need 40 say bitch. So homie, please don't marry that bitch.
Don't do it.
And that's
Don't
why
holler at
I'll never be.
Oh boy, it is with much regret that we have to report on this African Sambo Coonin and Buffoonin jive ass pan goofy named Phil Scott. Oh boy. Guys, a lot of you guys are new viewers. Smash the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission, book a genealogy consultation if you need help with your family's research, or if you've already done a family tree and you just need to learn how to link tribal affiliation. But guys, I can't even damn, I'm already fucking up with my words. My brain is foggy and hazy. I'm having a physical response in preparation to having to cover this imbecile yet again. This man is just so ignorant. He's just so disrespectful. He's so belligerently distasteful. It's just and yet another pan goofy that ain't in fucking Africa. He want to preach, go to Africa, move to Africa, buy land in Africa, but this motherfucker in America, married to a white Latina. Okay, all right. I ain't gonna go there. But guys, let me just catch you up on my previous grievance with Phil Scott. Okay, today we're gonna cover his blatant disrespect of our lovely Creole people down in Louisiana, all throughout French territory. All throughout French territory, but more so known throughout the Louisiana region. But guys, before we get into that, let's just give you a quick recap of when he was blatantly disrespecting the Native Black American community. First, I'll show you what the beef is really between me and quote unquote Uncle Phil. I mean, I guess if he's our adopted African Uncle Phil, right? But I'm going to show you where my real grievance, the real strife originated from, and then we're going to get to his latest asinine remarks on the Creole people.
You claim you an Indian, and yet you get no Indian set-asides. You run around here claiming you an Indian. Do you know what an Indian look like in America? Elizabeth Warren. You know what? Let me pull up her picture. Let me show you what an Indian look like in America. Hold on. Don't come to my page to the Indian crap, because I don't want to hear it. Give me a second. Let me pull up what a real Native American in this country look like. Hold on. Give me a second. Pull her up. Elizabeth. Hold on. Liz. Oh, sorry, y'all. Hold on. I forgot. I didn't have her. Well, hold on. Pull her picture up. Elizabeth. Hold on.
Come on,
Warren. There we
Grandpa.
go.
Come on, Grandpa. You can do it. You can do it. He's searching for a photo of Elizabeth Warren. Listen to the cooning and buffooning.
That's that real Native American right there that I need to pull up. Give me a second. Let me get up this great Native American on this screen here. What the hell? Why am I running so slow? Okay, there's no memory on that page. What is going on?
Grandpa, I know you were old head. I know y'all not good with technology. I'm glad you was even able to get a green screen functioning properly. Grandpa, why we gotta wait so long for you to pull up a photo of Elizabeth Warren to try to prove your asinine point? Come, Grandpa, we're patiently waiting, Grandpa. Come on.
Let me get this good Native American on the screen for y'all. Hold on. Let me download this picture real quick, just so y'all can see what a Native American looks like in America. Okay. Image. There we go. That's that great Native American right there. Okay. If y'all don't look like this, if you don't look like this, you're not a Native American. That's a
Yeah. Now you wonder why I do what I do, because you old head coon ass Sambo clowns got the audacity to tell us unless we look like that, we're not native. Oh, damn. Unless I look like Elizabeth Warren, I'm not a native, guys. Let these old head pan goofy coons online tell us who we are. Guys, I'm too dark, guys. I know a lot of you guys think I'm light-skinned, but in actuality, I'm too dark. I got to be like 6 shades lighter for me to be a true Native American. Let Philip Scott tell it. Yeah, guys, it's a changing of the guard. It's out with the old, it's in with the new. Us young Black Americans know our Aboriginal roots, and we ain't letting no dying ass old head ideology hold us back anymore. No, 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 no. Out with the old heads and in with the new. This motherfucker got the audacity to tell us we not native unless we look like Elizabeth Warren. Wow.
If you don't look like this, you're not a Native American. That's a Native American in this country. If you go look at all the recognized so-called Native American tribes, all of them got people that look just like that running it. I went to see myself. So if you don't look like Native, you.
So we're supposed to trust Phil. Phil says he went to a Native American tribe himself. Phil, if you're an African, why did you go to a Native American? Phil, this isn't making sense. What business did you have going to a Native American tribe if you're an African? Shouldn't you be going to Africa? Matter of fact, why aren't you in Africa? Why don't you go back to Africa? Oh, it's because Africa's a shithole. Africa's a place where this is what they do to one another.
Parce que men are not free now. Don't do freedom now. You even talk and say are they free to go?
Men are free. For my
Stop going to I'm going free now.
family now forever. You don't know. I get big for you, Sige. See ya. Where we is. Only thing we fit separate family and death.
Yeah, y'all. That's African entertainment, y'all. That's African. That's how they entertain themselves. That's what they watch. This weird head beheading snuff film. Yeah. This is African entertainment. So what does that say about their culture? Oh Lord. We don't want nothing to do with you greasy ass motherfucking Africans. Hey, peep game, y'all. You know how the Africans be online talking shit about foundational Black Americans, saying we're degenerates and we're single mothers and baby daddies on welfare, right? I ain't never seen a single mother of 44 until I took a trip to Africa. Hold up. Y'all didn't hear me wrong. You heard me right. I didn't say a 44-year-old single mother. I said a single mother of 44.
This lady gave birth to 44 kids before turning 40, and she raises all of them as a single mother. This is one woman's incredible journey of motherhood, but she refuses to be reduced to just that. I'm heading to Uganda to meet her and hear from her kids for what is sure to be an emotional roller coaster. Mama Uganda's story is a sad one. Forced into marriage at 12 years old, she gave birth 16 times to quintuple.
Yeah, you greasy ass Africans. This woman was sold into sex slavery by her. Oh wait, I gotta go to the beginning. She was abandoned by her mother when she was 3 days old. Then when she was 12 years old, her daddy sold her to a middle-aged man as a sex slave for some goats and cattle.
Triplets, and twins before getting abandoned by her husband to raise all 44 kids on her own while working 3 jobs. Do you have any relationship with your mother at all?
That since that day when her mom abandoned her when she was 3 days, she has never seen her mom. That her father.
Since her mama abandoned her when she was 3 days old, she has never seen her mom. And then her daddy waited until she got to the ripe age of 12 so that she can be sold as a child bride. These greasy ass fucking Africans. Hey, Phil runs an African diaspora news channel. I bet you he ain't never covered this shit. I bet you only learning about this on Mike TV and all on the African diaspora news channel, huh?
He's still alive, the one who married her off when she was 12 years old.
How did that happen? Because when you were 12, you probably didn't have much of a choice.
For her, she believes her father sold her because he was given cows, goats, and money. So it's like she was sold off.
Oh, she was sold off.
Yeah.
Just so the father could.
Yeah. Get those.
That's
stuff.
terrible. If you don't mind me asking, there's one father to all the kids, right?
Yeah.
And why is he not here helping raise the kids?
The main reason actually why the man abandoned her because that she produced a lot.
So he.
Damn, these degenerate ass African men. He gets a 12-year-old bride when he's 45. Gets her knocked up. She's having 44 kids. He abandons her. And then she about to say he started a few other side families. This one single African man is a father of 44 children with her, plus 5 other women he got children with. And you wonder why these fucking Africans are such degenerates. You wonder why they're such backward savages. You wonder why when we see them coming through holes at our U.S. border, we only see men. No women, no kids, because they abandoned their women and kids. Damn, all them Africans coming through the Mexican border. I don't see no women and children in sight.
But they're his kids, though.
Yeah.
He just didn't want.
Produce a road, so he has another wife, and the other one produces one. Yet for her
Yeah,
to
but
produce
the man,
maybe.
he gave her the kids. It was his choice too. The man.
Most men of here in Africa, they don't like taking care of their kids.
You heard it straight from the fucking Africans. Most men here in Africa don't like taking care of their kids. Damn, last night I had an African call into my show and say some dumb shit about the Pew Research Center, said that over 85% of Black men are not in the home with their children. I looked it up in real time. We Googled it. I shared my stream. It was actually 44%. So we got these Africans online trying to tell us that we abandon our kids, trying to tell us that we're not active fathers, and they abandon their children on such a large scale. Say it ain't so.
They take care of them when they have grown up. Like for us ladies, they know, yeah, she's going to bring dowry at home, you know.
Did he treat you well in your marriage before he left you? Was he at least nice to the kids? Was he nice to you?
The
I don't know, guys. I'm gonna try to translate. The white boy said, "What was the baby daddy? Was he at least nice?" And she said, "Amiganga, bubuganga, udi gumbaga guaba, hushahamba, hudivamba." I think the translation is, "No, he raped me and beat me and treated me very, very badly." But let's see.
Man was 45 years, and for her she was 12 years. So obviously there was no, there's no kind of love. It's like a forced marriage. So there was no good relationship.
So the 45-year-old married the 12-year-old.
Yeah, and the guy had 4 other women, so she was the 5th.
Damn. And Phil runs the African Diaspora News channel, and he ain't talking about that African news. He taking time to try to tell us, unless we look like Elizabeth Warren, we're not natives. Damn. Hey, Phil, why don't you talk about the fact that Africans are still selling Africans modern day?
They sell Africans over there in Libya. They sell men. Even 15-year-old Libyans are there in a car. They're armed.
Come on. Clearly, I gave Phil that work. And now we got to give him some more work, because Phil wants to start talking greasy and reckless about our Creole brothers and sisters. He wants to spout mistruths, mishistory, while claiming, guys, check this out. This is going to be the worst shit we ever see from Phil. Well, actually, the Native American stuff was pretty aggressive, so it's probably a close tie, right? But he's going to claim that he's Louisiana Creole. He's going to claim he has Creole heritage. He's going to claim he has a Creole grandmother, and that his Creole grandmother told him that Creole people are racist inbreds. Yeah, you can't make this shit up. No, so I know I said I did an Ancestry.com DNA test, and they said I was Bantu and Nigerian, and I run the African Diaspora Pan-African News Station. But for purposes of today's lecture, I got a Creole grandma from Louisiana, and she said this and she said that. Y'all, let's get into this sick shit. But before we do, a quick word from our sponsors. And God damn it, you know I'm shadow banned and demonetized, so I am my own sponsor.
My name is Javaris Johnson. I work in the oil and gas industry as a truck driver. I recently just did a consultation for my genealogy with Mike at Key Media Pro. It was awesome. A lot of great information. A lot of stuff I'm going to have to go back and digest, because it was so much information, man. And it really got me, it really helped me to get on the path to enrolling with my tribe and learning everything, man. And it's just a great and awesome experience. You know, I encourage you guys, you know, if you're curious, to go out, do your family tree, and connect with your ancestry.
Yeah, guys, let's talk about it. Phil already came for us Native Black Americans. Now he's coming for the Louisiana Creole community, the Louisiana Creole culture, but he claims he has that heritage. Guys, this is weird. And if you want to see the video that we're going to be reacting to right now, just type in YouTube, Phil Scott Creole. Just type in Phil Scott Creole. It pops right up. Let's listen to this dumbass Pan Goofy.
So you got, one of the sisters from Louisiana, one of the Creole sisters, is going to kind of explain to you just a little bit of their history. But, she's a lot right in what she's saying. But my grandmother told me a lot about the Creole history.
Oh, so she's right about what she's about to say, but my grandma taught me a lot. He's already setting the stage to try to debunk this woman. We got a Creole sister who's about to speak about her culture, speak about her people, and Phil's going to try to debunk her because he claims he has this imaginary straw man Creole grandma that he just pulled out of his ass all of a sudden. Nigga been running around saying he African for the longest. Now he got a Creole grandma. How convenient.
Grandmother, is from Louisiana, but let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Would you believe that there's a document that proves that they actually had a pact that they would do that? Okay, there's a lot of talk about why is it that so many Creoles married other Creoles. There's a term or a phrase they used to say, keeping it in the family. And it was literally that. Am I saying that my ancestors were committing incest?
She clearly just said, am I saying that my ancestors committed incest? No. We're hearing from a Creole woman herself speaking on her people's history, saying we kept it in the family. We married people of a shared heritage, a shared community. But it wasn't no incest type shit. But Phil Scott's going to tell us that the Creoles were racist inbreds. Let him tell it.
It in the family, and it was literally that. Am I saying that my ancestors were committing incest? No. What that meant was we had a class of people of our own. The gens du couleur were in a very unique position. They could not marry slaves. They could not marry whites sometimes. Sometimes they could, sometimes they couldn't based on the law. Did they have consensual relationships outside of marriage? Yes, they did. Here's the thing. These people were not like us. They had a whole different set of dynamics, and it was a different world, a different time. Socially, there were things that weren't acceptable. Think of it however you want to, but what wasn't acceptable at the time were people who made a certain amount of money dating down or marrying.
So once again, she says we kept it within the culture. We kept it, quote unquote, within the family, but it wasn't on no incest type shit. She also said they were not racist. They participated in classism. If your family works so hard to get rich, you're not going to want one of your children marrying someone who's poor, right? Having them come into the family wealth and potentially fuck it up. So here she's clearly saying no incest and no racism. Yes, there was some classism. Yes, there was preserving our culture, but let Phil Scott tell it, the Creole people are racist inbreds.
Down, okay? These people were all about looks, okay? Now, appearances, that was big. They could not marry down. That's literally, it was like, when I tell you that these people were the richest people in America, it was like a Kardashian dating a high school basketball coach. It was like that. I'm telling you, they were rich. They were rich with a capital R. So many of the people who were slaves that didn't work themselves up, right, after they became free or whatever, they couldn't marry them. And they couldn't marry whites sometimes. So what they did was they all created a little community within themselves because they were not really able to mix outside of that. And they kind of ran with their own people just the same way that we do in terms of finances. It wasn't skin tone, it was finances. If you were on their level financially, okay. Now, many of them tried to keep the money within the family because it was their way of trying to build community, because so many things with the whites, it was problematic. So this was their Black Wall Street type of mentality. They had made pacts to marry each other's families, and that's what they did.
Now, what she said.
All right, here we go, guys. The sister clearly says we try to stick with our culture. We try to stick with our fellow class of citizen. We didn't want to marry down wealth-wise, not racially. But here comes Phil Scott. And all of a sudden, Phil Scott has an imaginary Louisiana Creole grandma. And Phil Scott's imaginary Louisiana Creole grandma told him that the Creole people were some racist inbreds. Okay, you can't make this shit up. Let's get into it, guys. Hit the like button. Throw 5 on the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. Let me know. Did you know Phil Scott was such a fucking buffoon?
In a lot of ways is correct, but some things that she did not say. Now, she's right. They did not marry people that look like me, my color, right? Because a lot of them wanted.
If you're insecure, just say that, Phil. Nowhere in there did she say that they did not marry dark-skinned people, that they did not marry richly melanated people, that they did not marry dark brown people. She never once said we only married light skins. So we were into colorism. She never said that. She said classism. She said protecting culture and wealth. So why is he automatically trying to say, yeah, well, you know, she kind of right, but they wouldn't marry people my color? Nigga, stop it.
Now, what she said in a lot of ways is correct, but some things that she did not say. Now, she's right. They did not marry people that look like me, my color, right? Because a lot of them wanted to preserve that color. Like my grandmother said, I'm more inclined to believe my grandma because my grandma has never steered me wrong.
Okay. So we're not going to believe the Creole woman that you're reacting to her video on, right? You're going to believe your imaginary Creole grandma who said that they were racist and wanted to preserve their light skin so they didn't marry darks. What, Phil? What?
She said they want to preserve that color. So she told me, somebody like you, no. Matter of fact, this is my grandma said, you got to be careful with them little Creole women. And I'll say, why do you say that? He said, because in order to preserve that color, if they could not, like she said, get with other Creoles, they would get with a third and fourth cousin.
So am I clickbaiting you, or did Phil really just remix what this Creole sister said? She said, we try to preserve our culture, our class, our family wealth. We were not racist. We did not. She specifically said we did not keep it in the family incest wise. And Phil comes along talking about, hey, well, my grandma said they wouldn't get with someone like you, Phil, because you's a darky. And really, they was marrying their cousins and shit. Phil, stop it. Stop. I wonder if he knows that we know that he's lying right now.
I wonder if he know that I know he's lying right now. Oh, you got the new Margellas? That's what's up. That's what's up. I see you. That's your BMW? That's nice. That's your girl? Golly. Okay, I see you. But I just want to know one thing. You ready? Why the fuck you lying?
Yeah, so how was Phil made? Nice, clever observation, Manyface Publishing. If you got a Creole grandmother who told you all the secrets of the Creole gals, and you're clearly a dark-skinned brother, so how were you born if they're so racist and inbred? And wait, so are you inbred, Phil? Do you come from mommy and a daddy that are really cousins, or what are we talking about, y'all? This is baffling. This makes no sense. Y'all saw how he was disrespecting the shit out of my native Black American culture, and now he's gonna give the Creoles the work in the worst way possible.
To preserve that color. So she told me, somebody like you, no. Matter of fact, this is my grandma said, you got to be careful with them little Creole women. And I'll say, why do you say that? He said, because in order to preserve that color, if they could not, like she said, get with other Creoles, they would get with a third and fourth cousin, just so they can preserve that color.
Yeah, great observation, the WB. His grandma says something, it's a fact. But our grandparents say we native, they lying. How that makes sense, exactly. We talk about our oral tradition, they call us Wabos and Pretendians, but we're supposed to believe that Phil Scott has an imaginary Creole grandma he's been hiding from the world and never mentioned until it came time for him to try to debunk a Creole sister. For what reason, I don't know. Why is this the sword he wants to die on? Why is he trying to debunk her? She said, no inbreeding. She said, no racism. He comes on, no, my grandma said they was racist and they was inbreds marrying cousins.
They had things like the Blue Vein Society. Some of them even owned slaves as well. Oh, yes. And then
Okay. All right. Bitch made pan goofy, retarded coon Sambo jive ass motherfucker. We're gonna take a detour since he wants to really throw dirt on the name like that. Some of them own slaves. Yes, in French territory, slavery existed, but slavery was oh so nuanced. It was oh so nuanced. No one wants to be a slave, but let's see how the French slaves were treated, shall we? Let's see how the French folks treated their slaves. God damn it, if I got to be a slave, I want to be a French slave. I'm just going to go out here and say it.
Civilization in this wilderness was the education of women, whether European, African, or Indian.
So already in French territory, in French penal colonies, they're saying they equally educated their women, whether they were African, Indian, or European. So damn, they're educating slaves. Okay, all right.
Not only in Ursuline schoolrooms, but throughout the colony, relations between the French and their African slaves were unique in Louisiana. Unlike the British American colonies, slavery here was guided by France's Code Noir.
Damn, wait a minute. The French have a code of conduct with how to treat their slaves. They have a code noir, a black code. Guys, no one wants to be a slave, but we're going to take a look at a crazy lifestyle that you would have never thought a slave would live. If I got to be a slave, let me be a slave in French Louisiana, please. Or a slave of a Native American tribe, because what you'll learn is these folks didn't really treat them like slaves, more like indentured servants who can actually become free people within a reasonable amount of time.
It basically spelled out the rights of the slaves. They were recognized as persons. They had certain rights that even their masters were required to respect. They had to be baptized into the Catholic faith. They could not be denied the right to come to church. If they were married, they could not be separated. If they had children, they could not be sold apart. That was some very, very important protections that exist in Louisiana.
Hey, no one wants to be a slave, but these are some vastly different lifestyles. So when Phil says, well, you know, some of them had slaves. Hey, let's see how they treated their slaves over there in French Creole, Louisiana.
That did not exist in some of the British colonies, which neighbored Louisiana.
The original Code Noir provided that if a slave became the mother of a child of the master, then the master was obligated to marry this woman, free her and their children. Huh? This was the first.
What? If a French slave master impregnates his slave girl, he got to free her entire family and marry her. Damn. Did y'all know that? Put a 0 in the chat if you had no idea. Put a 0 in the chat if you didn't know that slavery was nuanced and not all of our ancestors were living some weird color purple 12 years of slave roots fantasy. Guys, it wasn't like that. Yes, some of our ancestors were treated extremely harshly, and when they were treated that way, they rebelled, they burned down the plantation, they killed Mass's family, and they went to Seminole, Florida, oftentimes. But guys, this is crazy. Phil want to throw dirt on their name, talking about, did you know they had slaves? Well, let's take a look at how they treated their slaves out there.
Version of the Code Noir, the French code that regulated slavery.
Many former slaves purchased their family members still in bondage and liberated them. Before long, Louisiana had a prosperous and growing population of free people of color.
Racial barriers were not very firm at all in colonial Louisiana. They firmed up much later. This was a place where there was a face-to-face encounter of people from all over the world.
In New Orleans and throughout Louisiana, this global village united to form a new culture that would come to be known as Creole.
Damn. So who are we going to believe? Are we going to believe the pan-goofy Phil Scott? Or are we going to believe the historians in that documentary? Are we going to believe that Creole sister whose video he reacted to and then acted like didn't hear a goddamn thing she said? Guys, let Phil Scott tell it. The French Creoles are racist inbreds that held slaves. Did they hold slaves? Yes, we don't dispute that, but it's much more nuance within that conversation. Much more nuance. And it looks like many of the audience members today had no idea of that nuance. These are the type of things that we cover during those genealogy consultations. So guys, make sure to tap in. Make sure to tap in.
Going to get genealogy consultation. I highly recommend Mike. You know, he was very thorough, prompt, very knowledgeable. Even taught me some stuff about the background of Indian ancestry and heritage that I didn't know. The biggest piece of it is he taught me how to pull records and really dig into those records to make sure that I have things to match up to be able to take back for my citizenship. So I really appreciate everything he does, and I highly recommend Mike as your genealogist.
I think it was very informative, very educational, very knowledgeable, because you touched on some things that I was aware of, but I wasn't aware in detail. So it kind of gives like an insight to some of the things that are going on today from history. So I think it's very important to learn your genealogy. And I thank you for the information. You're showing us how to navigate through the system. It's worth 75 or maybe a little bit more to me.
All right, guys, let's take a look. It's going to get worse and it's never going to get better. I can give you a thorough background on the Louisiana Creoles, and guess what? I don't have, well, you know what? I've got to look into that. I might have Louisiana Creole heritage now that I think about it. a light bulb just kind of went off in my head randomly right now. I never really dug too deep into this, but now that I think about it, if I reflect on my family tree, my mother's father was from Louisiana. Kelso Thomas was born in Natchitoches. What's that? Natchitoches, Louisiana. Guys, help me out. I know we got some Creole brothers and sisters in the chat. Where is Natchitoches, Louisiana? Is that by New Orleans at all? Where is that located? Because it just dawned on me that I do have a grandfather that's from Louisiana. So, God damn it, I somehow am tied to this as well, I guess. I mean, can you have heritage from Louisiana and not have some kind of Creole admixture in there? I mean, it seems like the whole point of Creole culture and society is being heavily admixed. But yeah, very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. But let's get into it. What else does Phil Scott's dumbass have to say, y'all? What else does Phil Scott have to say? They some racist, slave-holding inbreds. The Pan Goofies tell it, y'all.
Third and fourth cousin, just so they can preserve their color. They had things like the Blue Vein Society. Some of them even owned slaves as well. Oh yes. And then a lot of them thought that they was, they can go with the white folks. A lot of them could pass. And then when the white folks find out what they got going on, they say, hey, baby, you don't get your behind from up here with us. Get yourself right back there with them black folk. You don't belong up here.
So he's just creating wild stories now, or is this still what his granny told him? Help me out, Creole folks that are watching and Creole folks watching the replay. Leave some comments. Correct the error of his ways. So there was Creoles passing for white, but somehow they got exposed for not really being white. So then the whites were like, oh no, you think you're slick, go back with the blacks, even though you passed for white. What the whole point of passing is that you're undetectable, you're indistinguishable from a white. What the fuck is Phil talking about? This makes absolutely zero sense. Thank you, S. Larvadane, for correcting my pronunciation. So my grandfather was from Natchitoches. Thank you. Yeah, I was saying Natchez or some weird shit, Southern breeze. My bad. I was butchering it. But yeah, Phil Scott, just retire and live la vida loca with your white Latina wife.
Because they will treat a lot better in society than someone that look like me. You understand what I'm saying? So,
okay, tell me that you asked a light-skinned Creole sister to prom and she rejected you without telling me you asked a light-skinned Creole sister to prom and she rejected you. Nigga, who hurt you? Who hurt you? They wouldn't want a guy like me. A guy like me, I'm too dark to be a Creole. My Creole side of my family don't like me. I get a little pot of gumbo when I go to Louisiana, and I want a big pot of gumbo. What the fuck is he talking about?
Going on, hey, baby, you don't get your behind from up here with us. Get yourself right back there with them black folk. You don't belong up here. Because they will treat a lot better in society than someone that look like me. You understand what I'm saying? So my grandmother said, yeah, you got to be real careful. She said, don't let them green eyes they got in that light skin or that gray eyes, He said, don't let none of that fool you. He said, because boy, he said, you don't know what you're dealing with sometimes. And say with them. That's what my grandmother was saying. But we have to understand the quote unquote Creoles was just an offshoot of the legacy of slavery. Because you have to understand, there was no such thing as a Creole coming from the continent of Africa. That is the white man's print on causing genetic confusion. That's just what it really is. Now, I'm not saying the Creoles of today, no, nothing like that, because they'll tell you they black in a minute. You can hear her voice. If you wasn't sitting up there looking at her, you would think, oh, okay, well, that's another black girl, right? But she light skinned, whatever, she'll throw you off. But if you go to Louisiana, you see plenty of that. If you're that kind of brother that's into them kind of women, and some.
Okay, so you into the Creole sisters, and the Creole sisters don't want you. Get over it, Phil. Get over it. It happens, okay? It happens. Come on. Hey, I didn't even shoot my shot at a Creole sister, but I tried my hand at getting a Creole pen pal one time. That's Larvadane. You know who I'm talking about, right? I tried my hand at getting a Creole Louisiana pen pal. I just wanted to conversate, right? And I got shot down ever so gracefully. And guess what? I didn't get a stick up my ass about Creole woman. Well, just take it on the chin, man. Move on. It's okay. You found you a white Latina who wants you. You couldn't get a light-skinned Creole, so you got a light-skinned Latina. Okay, we settle for what we can get, okay? Beggars cannot be choosers. Let's talk about it. This man has been hurt. This man cannot get over rejection.
But if you go to Louisiana, you see plenty of that. Plenty of that. If you're that kind of brother that's into them kind of women, you know, and some of the women are into that kind of men. You know, so you know how that goes. But, you know, anyway, that's part of the history. And you can get more deeper into the history of the Creoles and all of that. But yeah, I just want y'all to kind of hear that.
Yeah. You know what? I think we do want to get deeper into the history of the Creoles and all that. So why don't we go ahead and hear from some Creole folks and not the fucking Sambo pan goofy old head niggas like Phil Scott of the African Diaspora News Channel. Nigga, talk about some Africans. What the fuck you talking about Creole for? What the fuck you talking about Native Black Americans for? Talk about them Bush babies. Talk about them Africans, huh? God damn it, I do more research. I produce more content on them fucking Africans than Phil Scott does of the African Diaspora News Station. Riddle me that. I don't even like them fucking Africans, and I still produce more content on them. Why? Because we got to wake up our people. Oh, Lord, we've been force-fed a false African identity for oh so long. These motherfuckers are cosplaying us, fleeing to our country en masse, sneaking through the U.S.-Mexico border. Goddamn, Phil don't want to talk about that, though, huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like being petty. So let me cue my special edit of these zombie-ass tethers, these zombie-ass bush babies fleeing everywhere but their own ancestral homeland.
More than 200 African migrants have scaled the border fence into the Spanish enclave of Melilla. It's the biggest assault on the border in more than 8 years. The new arrivals, many from Cameroon and Guinea, headed towards the Migrant Reception Centre, celebrating touching European soil. The latest incursion at Melilla brings the number of migrants who've successfully scaled the fence to almost 600 so far this year.
Come on, y'all. Come on. And shout out to all my Creole brothers and sisters in the chat. Stacey Nelson says, thank you, Mike, for doing this lesson because I don't appreciate him lying, saying that Creole are inbred. That's disgusting and inaccurate. Exactly. I do it for y'all. Come on. Even though as much as I think I am a light-skinned man, I'm really a dark-skinned compared to you Creole folks, okay? Since the Creoles do participate in some classism, but not no colorism. Come on, he really tried to make it like y'all was racist and y'all don't let black folks marry you who are darker than you. Y'all want to stay light-skinned. I mean, it's just weird. It's sickening. Yeah, shout out to Roy. Another Creole brother says, yeah, I know Phil is tripping with the Creoles narrative. Yeah. S. Larvadane, another Creole sister, says he's very inaccurate. I just don't understand why he runs an African Diaspora News Channel, but he want to disparage Native Black Americans. He want to disparage Creole people. Nigga, talk about them Africans. Yeah, talk about them Africans. Why don't you? Can you talk about them Africans? And when it comes to history, when it comes to lineage, when it comes to heritage, Phil, leave it to the professionals, please.
And giving me the direction I always needed, because growing up, I did not know about my family, nor did I know how to find out about my family. So the fact that like I tried other avenues and I felt like I was getting scammed, going through his consultation, I really felt like someone was actually trying to help me out and throwing a lot of fat on my head, bro. Like a lot of the things that he dropped, a lot of the gems that he's gonna show you, wholeheartedly, man, hang on tight, because that shit blew my mind.
Mike TV, this was a really good consultation. If you're curious about your Native American history, this brother knows what he's talking about. He has a wealth of knowledge, wealth of information, and his prices is legit. So book a consultation, go through the process, and see what comes out on the other side.
Yeah, Phil, you should leave this to the professionals. Now let's go ahead and take a deep dive into some Creole history and culture.
Well, downtown is more Creole. You had some uptown Creole too, but downtown, because you had family members, some stayed uptown, some stayed downtown. But the ones that's the Creole.
Come on, y'all. This is a dark-skinned Creole sister right here. Creole is not a complexion. Creole is a culture.
Creoles that downtown, they stuck down there. And you have a difference in cooking too with uptown and downtown. And for example, your gumbo. Your gumbo was downtown Creole, but it was like a red gumbo. And then you had uptown, and we had the brown one. And we used to call it muddy water, but it was a delicious muddy water.
When I was growing up, at that time you could have live poultry in your yard. So my grandmother had chickens, and she had.
We just seen a dark-skinned Creole. Now we see a light-skinned Creole. Creole people come in all complexions. That's right. Just like black folks in general come in all complexions.
Ducks. But when you went to the
Well, at least black folks in America. Them Africans only get our complexion if they do some chemical bleaching, but we ain't gonna talk about that right now.
grocery store, my job on a Saturday was to go to Steve's on Claiborne Avenue to buy live chickens. So I had to go there, and I wouldn't want to describe how they killed the chickens, but I had to wait for them to kill the chickens. Oh, and it was so good. It was so good to taste the fresh meat. It's very, very different now. But you could go to the store at the same time and get a chicken. They will cut it up for you, free of charge, anything you wanted. Your ground meat, they would do that for you. Anything you wanted. And they would give you a little lanyard. Sometimes the butcher would throw in an extra little piece of meat or something. They would say lanyard. So I'm giving you something a little extra special. I went in the store not long ago and I saw a chicken the size of a small turkey. And I asked the man, is that a chicken or is that a small turkey? Because that is a chicken on steroids.
Years ago, we were at the dinner table, and people could talk to one another at the dinner table. You knew what spoon to use, you knew what fork to use. Your table was set, on Sundays. You didn't have any money now. Sometimes, all during the week, you had on your table all corn, like you have plastic today. But on Sundays, you had that starched and iron tablecloth. Could have been made out of flour sacks that you bleached and washed and made to look like linen and embroidered and crocheted. But you see, that was culture. That taught you you're too different. You live good sometimes and you appreciate things, but you don't have that anymore. If you ask your mother, well, what do we have for dinner today? She would tell you, we have green beans and rice. And There was no meat involved because you didn't have any. You know, maybe you had the meat that seasoned the beans with, maybe, and that was your dinner. But you sat to the table, and that was your dinner.
Come on, y'all. Come on. We got to get these old heads up out of here. I'm about to be 30 in October. Feels what, twice my age? Damn near twice my age. Tries to come off like he's this professional newscaster, paying goofy. But he's going to do a stream disrespecting a whole culture of people, calling them racist, colorists, inbreds. But he ain't going to teach none of this, right? Leave it to the new generations to set a new trail, because some of them old folks, some of them have led us astray.
Well, growing up, my mom probably wouldn't love me to tell this, but she didn't cook the most often. But Creole food to me meant holidays, getting together, everybody, like, this aunt makes the best version of this, so she brings that, and this aunt makes the best version of that. And so Creole food, it didn't, at the time, we weren't like, oh, this is Creole food, everybody eat it. It's just what we ate,
Today, people I want baked macaroni every day. You can't have that every day. That was Sunday. Now, Sunday was something to look forward to, because when you had money, you had what we call pane meat. It's what we call breaded veal today. You got the round steaks and you breaded them, and you had that pane meat with your baked macaroni, and that was Sunday. And there's nothing like pane meat. You get those good veal rounds and bread them and fry them, and it's so different. And you had your fried chicken and your stewed chicken.
Ooh, Lord, this making me want to take a trip to Louisiana. Wait a minute now. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to drop the StreamYard link if anybody wants to click the link and call in. If any of our Creole brothers and sisters in the chat would love to click the link, you can click it from a cell phone or computer. It'll take you directly into the live panel. No need to download anything. We would love to hear from the Creek people. This stream is all about you all.
Only on Sunday.
We celebrated First Communion, and we had Mardi Gras. We had Carnival, which we refer to as Carnival, and we had Kalas. And on those special occasions, we had Kalas for breakfast. First Communion was Kalas, and when you woke up, when you heard the Indians on Carnival Day, and you heard the cry of the wild man, you knew it was time to get up, and you ate your Kalas, and you went and followed the Indians. And we all went from St. Bernard Avenue to Orleans Avenue all day.
And at the time, there were beautiful oak trees that made a canopy over the neutral ground, which I think you call the median elsewhere. And they would, people would bring picnic lunches. They would, picnic all day on this big median. And the Zulu parade did come. It wasn't as lovely as it is now. But you saw everybody you knew, and that you were at ease because you knew you belonged there. And of course, when they took the trees down and put the expressway up there, many of those businesses on North Claiborne Avenue died. That was a bustling Black business avenue. And the interstate just killed many of those businesses. Hurricane Katrina was a disaster for so many people. We were ordered to evacuate, but I was getting ready to evacuate even before then to go to Baton Rouge with my daughter, because the hurricane was expected to hit New Orleans directly.
I remember that, just with the hurricane coming for Katrina, we had on both sides of our family, on my husband's side of his family and on my side of the family, we all had relatives that were in New Orleans. So we were an hour away from New Orleans in Baton Rouge, and everyone came to our house. So it was maybe about 15 of us in the house, in our little house, and everybody just had to kind of make the best of it.
Come on, we all remember Hurricane Katrina. We all remember that famous Kanye West moment, George Bush don't care about black people, right? That disproportionately affected Creole communities. Them white folks in the good neighborhoods, conveniently, those areas didn't flood, you know. Wink, wink, hint, hint. Cue the X-Files music. I mean, they say they let the levee blow on purpose, but you know, that's for another stream. But you know, back on subject, let's go ahead and open up the phone lines. Let's see if we have any Creole brothers and sisters who can call in, give us some game, share some of their history, some of their culture with us. The first person coming from the back to the front is It Is What It Is. Go ahead and let us know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind. Are you there? I can't really hear you. Hello, hello. Going once. Going twice. All right. Well, if you can hear me, just go ahead and click that link and try again. But we do have New Era in the building. New Era, let us know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind.
What up, bro? I'm calling in from the Carolinas. I was just calling in to let you know you're doing a good job.
Appreciate that, brother.
And I appreciate the streams you be doing.
It still wasn't good enough. I thought I would represent for the Creole culture, and S. Larvaday will be my pen pal, but she said she liked her coffee dark. My stream was in vain. But instead of getting twisted in the game like Phil Scott, okay, I found me another. Shout out to Miss Stacy, I think it was. Yeah, Miss Stacy. Miss Stacy says, I'm a real old head, 54. Well, you like don't crack, darling, okay? Can you make a pot of gumbo? All I need is a pot of gumbo and some good conversation, okay? I'm easy to please. That's Larvardane had her chance, and she want to go with this cut.
Black American and a proud member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. Help me help you discover your roots with a personalized genealogy consultation. Paper trail genealogy matters. DNA tests can't prove ethnicity or tribal affiliation. You must search through paper records to dive deep into your family heritage. During the meeting, I will teach you how to navigate the genealogy process with ease. You'll learn how to link tribal affiliation with your ancestors, and I'll show you the step-by-step process I went through to gaining tribal citizenship. Take the first step to unlocking your past. To book a consultation, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com.
Anybody that wants to know, Mike is the real deal. His information is real. He's a humble brother, and he's all about the information. He's not about, personal gain or personal applause, personal credit. This is about our nation. It's not about one individual, but it's about us collectively as a people. And Mike is all about that, So we stand behind the brother 100%.
So I think it was very informative, very educational, very knowledgeable, because you touched on some things that I was aware of, but I wasn't aware in detail. So it kind of gives like an insight to some of the things that are going on today from history. So I think it's very important to learn your genealogy. And I thank you for the information. You're showing us how to navigate through the system. It's worth 75 or maybe a little bit more to me.
If you have any doubt, get it out your head immediately. So yeah, like I'm going to continue to work with Mike as much as I can. So I want to say thank you, Mike, for actually taking the time out and talk with me and my husband. Like you definitely informed us on a lot of things. And the people out there that's watching, he will also inform you on a lot of things that you may not even know about. So I want to say thank you again, Mike.